I think something is happening. Something happening? Yeah, I can see myself. 1, 2, 3, 4. Oops, no, that's 1, 1, 1, 1. 1, 2, 3, 1. 1. I'm not sure. One thing that last time the mic worked, but I think now it's a bit quieter. And again, sorry for the noise. It's because I'm using 3 lights in here, but this is a dark hotel room, and of course the sensor on this Mac is not very good. It's not like a full frame camera. But anyway, we are in today is the second video of the year, and yeah, happy new year to everybody. And just looking, if you see me going like this, that means I'm reading your comments. See who needs to be blocked, joking. So yeah, so I made my way up here, and it's been like, the weather was not cooperating fully because I'm so wide, like this thing is almost 12 feet wide, and it's just, you got to be careful, and especially these highways here, Highway 11 where I'm going, it's wide, but it's only 2 lanes. Hello from Brampton. Hi, how are you doing? So basically, Happy New Year. Yeah, today's, it's for me. When I was growing up in Russia, we didn't have Christmas. Well, because all the church holidays were kind of like prohibited, and now they all allowed. But Russia has a different calendar. So Russian Christmas is, I think it's in January. And so for me, for all of us growing up during the communism, the biggest 2 holidays were День Революции, the Revolution Day, November 7th, and the New Year. And so it was the same thing like what you guys do on Christmas Eve. We had a big table, lots of food, people coming over, drinking champagne on December 31st, and everybody was just waiting for the clock, and then the TV channel, our main, and we had like 2 channels on black and white TV. The main TV channel would show the Spasskaya Bashня, like the big Spassky Tower on the Red Square, and that was like the main clock of the country, and it would show the hands moving, and then 12 o'clock everybody was waiting for that. And of course that was like our version of this New York City ball falling down, so we were all waiting for that big hand on the Spassky Tower. So yeah, this is exciting, but if somebody 20 years ago would tell me that I would be celebrating January 1st in Cochrane, Ontario, I'd probably slap him in the face. I don't know. But I'm just kidding. It's not that bad. It's just that it's so up north, and actually not that far from Toronto, but it's like the nature changes so dramatically when you start going north, even like a couple of hours already, the weather is totally different. As you saw here, I left, it was like 0 or 32 F. Now here it's minus 10 Celsius or what is this, 18, so like 14 F right now, and lots of snow. All right, let's see what we got here. Questions here. So I think somebody asked me about, I've been doing drive-in forever, 2 years. I'm thinking about doing flatbed with E.W. Wiley. Well, I think any heavy haul outfit is good, out of all the American carriers, I only know Landstar. But I think if I was looking for something like that, I would, kind of like eventually switch into heavy haul. I would go to a place where they have no company drivers, very important, no company drivers, because they're just stealing. They'll be given the best loads. So it must be only owner-operator company, and then it should be like flat step so that you can progress. Let's say you try flat, then step, then you can switch to RGM. That would be cool. But as soon as they have company drivers, that's it. The company makes much more money putting loads on company trucks, and you just like I had the step deck, right, with this McKinnon, and I was asking them like, guys, why am I always like moving lumber and bricks and concrete? Like, what happened to machinery like generators and stuff like that, which paid much better? So they were giving me all the cheap stuff, and all the best stuff was going in company trucks. So like that's rule number one. Stay away from if you are owner operator, right? If you want to have your own truck, just stay away from companies where they have a mix of company drivers and owner operators. And unfortunately, I didn't follow my own advice after I quit Landstar, or they kicked me out for stopping on the side of the road to take off the camera for the video I was doing for YouTube. And I had no choice. I couldn't find anybody. So I went to this premium place, Premium Ventures, and they had a mix of company drivers and owner operators. And again, I saw again that just does not work very well, I'm telling you. All right, well, somebody was asking about, I'm just scrolling here. Somebody was asking about Pittsburgh Power. Actually, I was thinking about this, instead of, once I start hauling later this year, these 60-ton, crazy loads, hopefully, with the Jeep and Stinger, even now, sometimes, like with this 100,000 pound, on a flat road, the truck is fine because it's 2,050 pounds of torque. But my concern is the rear ends, because the effective, oh, sorry for the trembling, it's when I touch the table. The effective ratio is 391, right? Because it's 410 and I have taller rubber. And so I was thinking either changing to low profile 24.5, but then of course your speed goes down, your RPM goes up, and option B, of course, is get one of these little gadgets. I saw them at a truck show, not Pittsburgh Power, but actually I think it's the same one. It's this Bully Dog, right? Bulldog. You see their advertising on the side of the road. Ottawa, Ontario, I do line hauls Toronto and back. Well, basically it's like a bus, right? Like I never can do this. I know you can make money, doing some lanes all the time, but it's just not for me. So I applaud you for sticking to one lane. All right. Hello from Udali, Kansas. Udali, Kansas. Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, Kansas. Hello from Cambridge. Oh, somebody's in Cambridge. Hi. Happy New Year. Yeah, here's the guy that was asking, have you ever thought about stopping at Pittsburgh Power while in PA and making what? I disappeared on me. And making that KW really upright. Yeah, like I said, that's a consideration. And the one I saw at a truck show, this Bully Dog, you can buy them for $1,000 during a truck show. They have like a promotion, and I was ready actually to shell out the coin when I was in this, where was I? I think in Dallas. Yeah, I was at this Dallas truck show, and they had a booth in there, and I talked to them. But unfortunately, they didn't have the updated version for my my truck, for my X15 Cummins, because it's a relatively new model. But now I know they support this. I was checking on their website. So basically, yeah, that makes much more sense, doing this, because it's way cheaper than changing tires, of course, unless I wait till my tires, wear out and then I change them. But then you have to adjust the height. I was also checking, because the truck will go down by about probably 1 inch, and then I would have to take the truck to, if I change the tires, I would have to take the truck to Kenworth and change the height of the pusher axle, because I saw in the manual that it's adjustable, because of course otherwise the truck will sit, kind of like funny. So I think it's better, yeah, just to get this bully dog thing, the tuner, kind of like what they do for cars, and then they give you like what, like 5-6 positions. When you need the power, you just add the torque, and that might even improve the fuel economy, right? Because I don't drive fast, but sometimes, especially in like with that 100,000-pound excavator in Pennsylvania, it was difficult, and not that there's something wrong with the truck, but it's 100,000-pound load, and you're going up these crazy, mountain roads over there. So I wish I would have like a couple of 100 pounds of torque more, somewhere in my back pocket when I need it, just turn it on, All right, Happy New Year to you as well. I heard you were in Chicago. Hope you enjoyed the weather. Yeah, like it was 55 F. What is it? 13 Celsius. It was amazing. But then as soon as on the next day, it cooled down. But I'm telling you, I really like that town, like the downtown. I don't care about all the shootings and mafia wars on the outskirts, but downtown, it's just, it's so cool, especially in the summer when the weather is nice, and you can really enjoy the weather. Oh, we have a winner here. $5, but I don't see the name. I'm not sure who gave us $5. Thank you very much. Is there a name? No, I don't see anything. All right, I'm just scrolling here because we got so many. Hello from Texas. Says Gearhead 0717. Hi. Lots of Happy New Years. Do you work directly for Mr. Trump? That's a negative. Nice to see you live on the 403. Nice to see you live on the 403 at Mavis yesterday. I was in that area, but it was not yesterday. Today's already Wednesday, right? I got loaded on Monday. Monday night, I was north of Toronto. So Tuesday, yesterday, I could not have been near Mavis, which is in Mississauga. All right, we have 258 people. That's good. Hello from Kansas. Trucker Dan 2016. Thanks for being here. Hello from Australia. Come on, what are you guys doing not sleeping? It's probably already like middle of the night over there. I can never figure out. I know it's a very big difference. All right, here we have a question from Mr. Gonzalez. Hi, Sergi. I have 2-axle lowboy 35-ton. Could I survive as independent? 2-axle lowboy 35-ton. Well, that's probably the most popular trailer. Lowboy. I hope you have the decks, because that's what all these guys are looking for. They want like 3 decks, so you can put like some kind of machinery, and then wheels, and then hoses or whatever, attachments, and they want a long deck. That's the name of the game with the light trailers, is you need a long deck, or better yet, maybe get like an extendable. But I don't see why not, it's, you can do loads, right, that step deck guys cannot do, because you can take something heavy, something tall and wide. But when I was researching this, right, so my plan was to go 7-axle, because I just knew that after talking to many people online and reading a bunch of stuff, I knew that you need a 4-axle truck and a 3-axle trailer, right? And then I added another axle because I saw it was beneficial. And so I think you get better chances, when you can beat these 35-ton guys, because there's a lot of these trailers. But 35 tonners, let's call them, they just a regular truck, like a three axle, steer and tandem, right? Oh, thank you very much. $9.99 from one of our participants. Thank you, sir. Oh, ma'am. For some reason, it doesn't show me names in here. Like participants, pop out chat. Hold on, let me see if I can make it bigger. Oh, wow. I can make it bigger. So this $9.99 was from Big E1229. But now I cannot see myself. I don't know. You guys can see me probably, right? Yeah. Oh, okay. So I can make this window actually bigger. Oh, wow. That's pretty cool. Yeah, because, I'm still learning over here. But yeah, before, when it's part of the window, it's very... Hold on one second. It just gets very hot in here. Okay, I turned off the air conditioning because I'm all, getting hot in here. All right, so that was from Big E. Thank you very much, sir. So let's see if we have any other questions here. Hello from Sask. Is that somewhere near Man, east of Elbe, I think? Hi. I have to ask, when you have a heavy load in your going down a hill, when you put that engine brake to work, do you get an adrenaline rush? Well, mostly, especially driving here, you get scared because the downside to using a powerful exhaust brake or engine brake is that it can get slippery, right? So you have to watch the road. But I never keep it on all the time. Like some guys keep it on all the time and then they shift. And then the guy has a dry van trailer with 10,000 pounds of chickens inside, and he uses this stage 5 exhaust brake. Brr, 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 Some guys like that, but I just use it to preserve the brakes, right? Especially when you go a big hill, and it really helps not to overheat the brakes. It's really, really important. I think I mentioned this, that on Kenworth has a much better engine brake than Mack. On Mack, I only had like 2 positions. This one has 3, and I think number 3 it's much stronger. So, all right, what else do we have here? Привет с родины, капитан. Как ты наслаждаешься Новым годом? Ну как, в сухую тут все у нас. Бросил пить, ем белки. Сегодня первый день. Today is the first day of my new diet and dry camp. We're trying again. All right, PDI diesel. Somebody says try PDI diesel. Actually, on the international, I used manifold. You can get like a custom manifold from them for the cat, where they increase the capacity inside. They polish it inside, and that gets you, like they said, 30, 40, 50 horsepower. And that was pretty expensive, but I was doing those things kind of like what I do with cars. I was doing that with the international, but then I was spending all this money. Then I see the truck all of a sudden is got very old. Everything is rattling, right? But the engine was great. That cat was great. It's too bad they don't make them. They don't make them anymore. So did you close your Facebook? No, I did not. Hello from Minnesota. Hi. Gary, Indiana. One guy here says 3 eggs, and in farm country we say hamburger steak. Try it. Well, actually, now I got sick and tired of adding extra weight, which, it's hard to see on camera, but I can feel it, right? So I'm not blind, so I can see what's happening. When you get older, your metabolism slows down, so you need to cut on your calories. And so I was just driving and thinking about this, like what should be my New Year resolutions, and I came up with a couple of things that because I want to get ready for this big loads that I hope are coming. And by the way, yesterday I emailed the financial lady. I said, "Can you send me the contract?" I said, "I want to do it in December. I want it to be dated this in December so I can get my sales tax refund in January." And she says, "Well, that's a very short notice. I don't know if I'll be able to get the bill of sale from the factory this fast." I thought she already had it, but I didn't hear from her um, by the end of yesterday. Of course, today is a holiday, so I'm not sure, but I know it's ready. They told me so. Like the Stinger was ready probably before the Jeep, and then they were just finishing, like, painting the Jeep. But I told them, I said, I don't need it right now. Like, let's do it in January. And then I realized, wait a second, I'm going to be doing all my, expenses, and I'll be claiming my sales tax HST. So it would be great if I could have the agreement. Then I could add that, that few $1,000 that I have to pay them. All right. Well, that was Matt Wesley, the gentleman that donated $5. What is your opinion of Oshkosh M1070? Are they worth buying? The new ones have a Caterpillar C18. Well, they're cool looking trucks, but I'm not too familiar with the models, But I know one local carrier over there in Ontario. They bought a few of these Oshkosh Army trucks, and they're like 6x6, all wheels drive. Um, but mostly they use them for like marketing and show. And they said they only use them when they have something super heavy going off road, because the tires are so big, right? And I don't think it gets a lot in terms of fuel economy, but they are cool looking trucks. I think, I think these guys only paid, and they're not that expensive like the used ones. I'm not sure how much mileage they had, but the guy told me they paid like 50 grand Canadian, or 50, 60 grand, they were, but they look awesome. I saw them once over there in Cambridge. They were pulling in some monster trailer with 20, 30 axles, Okay, what else do we have here? Highway 11 is almost flat compared to Highway 17. Well, not really, but it's definitely better than 17. 17 goes near the lake, and 11 it's a bit further, like it's longer way, right? But also in winter you get better weather over here. Oh, we have Frontier. Yo yourself. Congrats on the first load. He just did the first load with his brand new shiny Pete and Trail King. Croatia. Hello from Croatia. Hi. Do you have disc brakes or drums on your truck? I got disc brakes, but I think on the front I still have drums. I know that it's not all axles, but I know I have them. And yeah, I would not go back because first of all, they're much more effective, and secondly, they stop the truck faster. But also, your chance of getting a ticket is much lower because inspectors, they like measuring those drum brakes, right? With these, there's nothing to measure, so it's much better, for especially for a single guy, for an operator. What do you do when broker required cargo insurance over 100K for a specific load? Well, actually, I have 500K on my insurance, but Canadian, so that's like 350 US. But basically, yeah, it's cheaper to increase it permanently. I was talking to my broker, but you can do it like single time. But the guy explained to me that he says, just look at your average cost of cargo and then just go with that. And for some reason, many US brokers require higher coverage from Canadians, whereas let's say they say, okay, 100K US cargo is okay from a US carrier, but if you're Canadian, they need like 300K, and so that's why I carry 500K Canadian cargo. When is your Jeep and Stinger going to be ready? Well, I think they're already ready. I just need to sign the paperwork and go give them a few $1,000 and drive over there 1 hour north of Toronto and pick it up. When do you plan on getting loads big enough to start using it? Well, we'll just be monitoring the load board and see what happens. 35 years ago, I took the road that goes east from Cochrane over to Quebec. Have you ever hauled anything to the hydro dam in northern Quebec? No, I was in northern Quebec once. I did like a video a couple of years ago when I was fighting mosquitoes over there, but I did a delivery to a farmer like in northern Ontario, in northern Quebec. But over here, the worst part about this Cochrane area, there's a couple of mines north of it, and it's only quote unquote 200 kilometers, I think, or even 170 kilometers, but it takes like 3 hours because it's a very bad road, like goes into the boonies there to the mine. And quite often, like Landstar, they would have these loads because it was a Caterpillar. They're the exclusive dealer here for the Caterpillar. And they would have these loads and they would say, destination Cochrane. And they got me once like that, because then, of course, it's not Cochrane. It's, 3 hours north of here. Then you have to drive 3 hours back on this, road. And after that, I knew to ask them each time, where exactly in Cochrane? Because, yeah, Cochrane, it's nothing just delivers right here. Rarely, it's all these mines, oil lines, gas lines. Okay, what else? 407 is now open from QW all the way through to Highway 35. Yeah, I have a transponder for 407. It's pretty expensive, but I do take it during rush hour when I have a load because, yeah, just bypass Toronto. It's cool, but it's cost almost $1 per kilometer Canadian. So if you do 100 kilometers, 60 miles, they charge you pretty much $100 or 70 US. It's pretty expensive, but it's a business expense, right? So especially during rush hour, like I often have to go to, let's say, Bolton, right? Ritchie Brothers auction north of Toronto, and I'm coming from Cambridge. I take that 407. It makes things easier. Or I have to go to, let's say, Caterpillar in Vaughan. Again, I take 407 because it goes like a arc north of Toronto, right? So it's okay. Guy here says, do your American trucks not have retarders like UK trucks? Well, I'm not sure about UK trucks, but we have engine brakes, exhaust brakes, right? They're different types, but of course we have them. Actually, you must have them when you move heavy loads. Even on the permit, it says must have engine brakes. retarder brakes. Okay, Happy New Year from BC. Thank you, sir. Same to you. Do you have an accountant or do all stuff yourself? Yeah, I do everything myself because I don't have employees. I learned all this stuff, like Revenue Canada, all these rules, and for one guy, it's pretty easy. I don't have a lot of paperwork. It's just the worst one is IFTA. IFTA, which is fuel tax, which reminds me that now it's January 1st, so I gotta do this IFTA for the last 3 months in 2019. So that's a day out of my life. And one guy says, I live in Brooklyn, New York, and I want to be a freight agent. It's almost impossible to get a job without experience and not a big choice in my area. Could you advise me how to break into the industry? I don't know. You might probably need to relocate somewhere. But then again, if you're a freight broker, right, technically you can work from everywhere. It's all you just need to find the company. I know there's a big, they lose people, they bring people in. So it's just a matter of finding the company that will have training for you. But you see, the problem is they don't want to train you because then they're afraid that you're going to leave and start your own little brokerage, so you might need to sign some kind of agreement with them saying that you're not going to compete and you're going to stay with them for some time. But basically, yeah, I think it's all about finding the right company that will agree to train you. But there's nothing in New York City. I would just look outside because you don't have to be physically in the office, right? Everybody works from home. But one thing you could do is you can sign up or like try trial for some load board. And a lot of load boards, they have a classified section, or a forum where people exchange opinions over there. And you can just try to post some information over there, like looking for a job or if anybody knows anybody, So that might work, So load board, classifieds, or a forum section. Because that's where all the brokers are, right? So basically you have to go where the brokers are, right? And I deal with all kinds of agents and sometimes they don't know anything. So which tells me that they just started recently, So somehow they break in, right? All right. I don't know, some guy just came in German here. I have no idea what that means. My German is pretty rudimentary. Okay, what else we here? Have you ever smuggled drugs in a load? What kind of question is that? Of course not. Why would I jeopardize my career as a trucker? Do you even feel the wind anymore in Wyoming? Well, I don't remember last time I was in Wyoming. Do you use TruckStop or DAT for load search? I use whatever's available, everything, including Landstar free load board. And what else is there? Like all these Ritchie brothers, they have websites over there. They send you where people try to book freight, right? What was your biggest load that made you nervous, or don't you get nervous? Well, the biggest load I did so far was this 100,000 pound John Deere. But what makes me nervous usually is when something is very wide, like it's a bit scary when it sits just like 1/3 of the track sits on the trailer, and actually half of the track is on the outrigger boards. And so that was the heaviest, 100,000 pound. But the scariest one was probably a similar John Deere I did with my Mac when I was still an owner operator, because that one had they didn't move the tracks in like they were supposed to. It was one of those excavators where you can move the tracks in and out, but they said it was a big job. It's not like easy. You cannot do it yourself. You have to use tools, and so these guys didn't do it, and so it was super wide. But the weight was only 93,000 pounds, and I remember it was from New York, like somewhere near Buffalo, to Ontario. It was a short run, but because it was my first time, that was one scary. And that at that time, that was my heaviest load, 92,000 pounds. But yeah, it's not a joke. Even though it's, you would think, right, that like I have a 60-ton trailer, my previous one was 55, and 90,000, that's like 45 tons. But that's scary, like even this one I have right now, this little toy, kind of like baby looking excavator, but because it's a compact radius, 79,000 pounds, it still, can be dangerous, because this thing is like 11 feet, 11 inches wide. So I keep an eye on these tracks, and that's why this morning I added one more chain on each side. I got a bunch of chains on it now, everything is secure, but I don't like it when they're very wide, Okay, what else do we have here? Let me go back a little bit. So I'm going to go back. Australia, all right, we saw that. Laramie, Wyoming. Hi, Captain, from Laramie, Wyoming. We all shut down here because I-80 West is closed. 1,000 trucks filled all truck stops. Happy New Year. Wow, I know that feeling. I was there a couple of times during, big snowstorm. Yeah, it's ugly. So my sympathies and Happy New Year. I hope they clean up the roads. Hey, Captain, why don't you use rows of 8 wheels on your trailer, Jeep, to get more capacity? So much easier to do heavy loads. In Australia, we just keep adding axles. Yeah, they do this. Actually, they have these trailers, but I know they're super expensive. They use them in California, and then guys from Western Canada buy them. I forget what's the brand. It's like they're not even hydraulic. These guys in California, they do these trailers. But yeah, I know people use them, but it's also extra weight, right? It's extra weight, extra maintenance, and it's extra money, right? Because it's not cheap. So now I'm gonna be, because I have the pusher axle, some places I can run with 10 axles, because my Jeep, the way they were designing the Jeep, I told them, please make the design so that I can use my pusher, because with a regular Jeep, tandem Jeep, you cannot use your pusher, because it's impossible to properly load all axles. But mine is going to have a very long body, like almost like a Tridem Jeep, but just 2 axles, and so I'll be able to use my pusher, except Western Canada, of course, where they don't recognize it. But so I can have like 10 axles. I think that's pretty cool. That's 10 axles. That's 200,000 gross, minus empty weight of, let's say, 72, right? So that's like conservatively. So yeah, 128. So I can even go over the capacity of my trailer. But actually, the trailer itself, it's 120,000 in 12 feet. So it's more than 12. It can take more. So basically, if it can do 120 and 12, then it can do 240 and 24. But it all depends on the axles, like the ratings. I think mine are 23,000 on the trailer. You just have to look at the sticker there, right? On the truck, I have 23, the last two, 23, 23, 46, and then the pusher is only 20 for some reason, and the steer is 20. All right, Happy New Year from Williamsport, PA. Thank you. Same to you. Obersalm, Germany. Hello from Germany. So Stefan Felger. Danke. Hello from South Bend, Indiana. What are you doing in South Bend, Indiana? All things that are happening now are happening in Chicago. I'm just kidding. All right, somebody gave us $10. Thank you very much. But for some reason, why is it not showing me names? Like before it would show. Oh, okay. I'm just looking. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm trying to look like my camera is at the top here, at the top of the screen. So if you see me looking at you, I'm looking straight at that green light at the top of my screen. If I'm looking this way, I'm reading your comments. And again, I really appreciate all the contributions. All right, disc brakes, I answered that. I have a new 2019 Mac that has a 3-stage engine brake and a max brake feature that is used on stage 3 and an exhaust brake together. Very nice feature on an 80K tri-axle. Okay, well, I think they started doing that probably, right? Maybe they borrowed it from Volvo, but on mine, I remember pretty well that I only had a 2-stage engine brake, so it was not enough. What do you do when broker requests cargo insurance over 100K? Well, we already answered that. So either you beef up your insurance permanently, or you do like a one-time only, and you just look at the cost. Did you hit your goal last year that you wanted to money-wise? I'm not sure yet. I think I'm close. Well, like my plan was a bit ambitious. I don't think actually, I don't think I did. I reached that one because this year was a bit slower than last year, but than the previous year. Okay. We were friends on Facebook. What happened? I'm not sure. Says Robert here. I'll check it out. What are the advantages of taking Highway 11 to Dryden versus Highway 17? Yeah, 11 is straighter and the weather is better, but fuel over here, guys, geez. I was sitting in New Liskeard and I saw that I have 50% of fuel, and the last time I fueled in Canada was $1.22 Canadian per liter, and over there in New Liskeard it was $1.29. And usually these people, they don't want to give you the price over the phone because they think maybe you are the competitor, But I called ahead. I called Petropass here in Cochrane, and the guy was nice enough to tell me. He says $1.40 Canadian per liter. And so I said, "Thank you, sir." And I went to Husky in New Liskeard, and I paid $1.29 Canadian. Because over here it's even more expensive, So that's the problem with this Northern Ontario, is that fuel is very expensive. And I'm using that. I bought that Canadian Tire anti-gel. I put a bottle in each tank. Okay, what else we have here? A beam trailer has no deck. The machines you load need to be blocked up on hardwood cradles. Oh, they're answering each other. I have a tracking question. What's the difference between a beam trailer and your Fontaine? Yeah, I think that was already answered. But yeah, beam trailer is just no deck, just the frame in the middle. So it's very, very narrow. It's kind of like the 1/3 of the width of my trailer. And so because of that, they put blocks on the ground and they disconnect the trailer, and then the excavator, let's say a big excavator, just drives over these beams, and then they lift the trailer and they put more beams on the deck, and they lift it. And so then when they lift it, they make sure that everything is properly centered, and then the tracks of that machine will probably hang like this from the ground. So it's in my opinion, it's pretty dangerous. You really have to know what you're doing. But with these beam trailers, you can make some money, because sometimes I see people have these super tall equipment, like 13.6, 14 feet tall. So I cannot haul them on my trailer, because my loaded deck height is 20 inches, which is like theory. I think more it's like maybe 22. No, wait a second. Mine is 22 inches. Yeah, that's like the lowest I can be. All right. We have 360 people. That's pretty good. Happy New Year, everybody who's just joining in. Just post your questions. Okay, I already answered that. 407. D2LA gold mine. That's it. Yeah, D2LA gold mine. That's the one here near Cochrane that takes forever to get to. But that's a very big property. They always have these cat rock trucks, disassembled, going there, and like the one truck would move a big, the bed, the box, then another one would move the frame, then the wheels. And I think there's no filming in there. Once I left my dash cam running, and then Caterpillar saw that video and they complained to Landstar agent, and Landstar emailed me, "Oh, take that down." And so I had to delete that video where I was driving. I'm driving in the truck. I'm not recording with a camera or a cell phone, but dash cam is for safety, right? And these huge rock trucks were driving on the same road next to me. And I didn't touch the dash cam. I kept it, it was always on. And now I have it as well, because that's the requirement of my insurance company. Can I be on the load board if I don't own a truck? I just want to look out of pure curiosity. Well, I don't think they will allow you to join unless you have a active MC number as a carrier or as a broker, because it's kind of like a protected, system, right? But what's funny about load boards is that often you see the same load posted by two people. Like first you see the original post, and then sitting there, and then all of a sudden there's a Landstar, goes in, grabs that load, and now there's no price, and the weight was 120,000, now it became 99. So I see how people actually take loads from other people and they just post them on the same load board. Like, what do they think? We are idiots, But sometimes it's just they do like an auction, where the customer actually contacts a few brokers, or they even don't have this load, Like the guy puts a price, and let's say he says, $2 million, right? They're going to pay you $2 million to go 30 miles. Yeah, I wish. But let's say the guy says $2 million. So I call him and say, "Hey, I like your price. Where do I sign up?" "Oh, well, actually, it's an auction. You tell us what you want." Oh, wait a second. Why did he put the price in there, right? But that's what they do. They put the price to kind of grab your attention, and then you call him, and it turns out the guy does not have a load. He has to have your quote, and then he submits it. And of course, the guy says he does not know what the customer is willing to pay. As soon as you give him your quote, he gives you his reaction immediately within 3 seconds. "Oh, that's too much. We had a truck for $1.50. So you sure you cannot do $1 a mile?" Wait a second. Just 5 minutes ago, you told me you had no clue how much this lane pays. Like the guy used this expression with me, "Oh, I'm mostly moving loads inside US. I don't know what this lane pays to Ontario, Canada." Well, it's the same. Probably should pay better, because we deal with the customs all the time, right? And there's more permits. All right, what do we have here? And so, yeah, I'm pretty sure you cannot do this. You cannot just go on the load board unless you have an MC, motor carrier number, or MC as a broker, But there's a bunch of free stuff that maybe like a, tracker path. Yeah, that's you can look up that one. Tracker path, the app that shows track stops and inspection stations and scales. They have their version of a load board, and for that one, I don't think you need any MC number. Oh, hello, Captain. Greetings from Finland and Happy New Year. Same to you. Thank you for watching and thank you for participating. Belgrade is here. That's pretty cool. Uh, Somebody says, you said 300,000? Yeah, like my cargo insurance is 500,000 Canadian, right? Which is roughly, US dollars is 75% of that. So I got 2 million liability and 500,000 cargo insurance. But that's because I'm in Canada, right? So that's all Canadian funds. And sometimes that's not enough. Big fan of your rants. Thank you, sir. Very good evening to you, sir. Get your fenders addressed. Oh, yeah, the fender, right? Like this year, I don't know what was going on with me, but this year, my poor truck got into a lot of adventures, right? So the most ugly part now of the truck is not actually the fender, it's that well, it was not me. It was the guy was supposed to watch, right? The consignee was watching when I was loading this 100-ton trailer, and he didn't stop me. Like I cannot see with the back of my head, right? And he didn't stop me when I started sliding, and that kingpin just hit that, bar behind the sliders. It just ripped it, bent it. Like it looks real ugly, but it's not structural or anything. Chaka posted $2 and something is trash. I'm not sure what RYOB. What is RYOB? Is that some kind of a abbreviation, or is that a user? Because we don't tolerate that kind of a behavior here. But we'll see. Okay, always looking for you on the 401. I will hang out the window to say hi when the day comes. Keep the wheels turning. Thank you, Terry. Yeah, I'm always there, right? I have to. I'm based west of Toronto, so I always going. Often I go into US to load. If there's not enough loads in Canada, I would go into US and bring in load back, or I would go to Caterpillar or John Deere, stuff like that. Captain, do you ever see yourself moving to the US? Yeah, that's the plan probably for like later years, because everything is so cheaper in the States. But for me to do it legally is I can live there, but I cannot work there. But I can still do like this trucking across the border. And so, but I can buy a piece of land, build a house. So why not somewhere in a warmer climate, But if I move permanently to US, which is again is allowed for us as Canadians, I don't need a visa. I can enter US anytime with my passport. But the rule is, like all these retired guys in Florida, they go there and then after 6 months you have to get the heck out, even like for one day, and then you can get back in. So that's the rule. This visa-less entries that you cannot stay longer than 6 months. But the thing is, Revenue Canada says if you stay outside of Canada for more than 6 months in a year, you lose your status as a resident of Canada and you lose your free health care, which is a pretty serious thing, And so I don't want to move permanently, but eventually I plan to buy something somewhere in the south, so I can leave, Canada in winter and just move my truck in there and do the same trucking I do now across the border, except starting from US. Let's say let's say I buy something in Texas, I don't know, then I find a load, let's say from Texas to Ontario, then I go from Ontario to Texas, stop there for a break, then do it again. But I have no plans of violating any laws or something. But so yeah, you cannot just move to US, like pack your bags and just watch that show, the border protection. How many people show up at the border? Oh yeah, like with suitcases full of tools, and it doesn't work like that. You have to have some kind of a paper trail, right? Like for me, it's easy. I can live there. I can park my truck. I can buy a house. So why not? It's allowed by law. That's the big advantage of being a Canadian. Which reminds me that I'm still Russian, and my mom we were talking on the phone. She says, Sergey, so did you renew your Russian passport? I said, no, Mom, not yet, because my Russian passport expired, and she wants to see me, so she wants me to come over to Russia, and the only way when I can go there, it's when it's winter, because in winter there's no work, right? I don't want to go in the summer because I waste like the best months for money making opportunities, right? But the thing is, Russia is just like somebody told me, South Africa is like that. If you can be a citizen of many countries, they don't care. But if you are still a citizen of Russia, you must come only as a Russian citizen. I cannot just go to the embassy and say, hey, can I get a visa to Russia? They'll look me up on the computer. Wait a second, Sergey Drachev, you're a citizen, right? You must enter Russia only on a valid Russian passport. And that's what I got to do. I got to renew my Russian passport so I can go visit my mom. I told my brother, I said, hey, how about I fly there and we meet somewhere in a neutral territory, like Ukraine is now is independent country. I don't need a Russian passport for that one, or I can meet you in Germany or France or UK. And he says, no, that's not going to work because mom is going to be offended. She wants to see you in Russia. Hello, Sergey, says Vlad21. Hello from Romania. Have you ever had your diesel stolen from your fuel tanks or of your trucks? Well, I hope you're not the guy sitting next to me in the truck stop. No, but it's not that easy, right? It's not that easy stealing fuel, It's a messy procedure. You must have equipment. And when I got this truck, actually, it had the anti-siphoning device in there, but that one was driving me crazy because you cannot put in the nozzle properly. It was a constant struggle. So I remember like week 2 after owning the truck, I took it to Kenworth. I said, okay, remove this thing. Remove this anti-siphoning device because it's a nightmare. Okay, that's why you have to charge for oversized loads, because a lot of things can happen to your trailer while loading. Well, that's why we charge more, is because not only that, but you have a much higher chance of getting a ticket because you have to enter each scale. And of course, if the guy's in a bad mood, he will always find something, even on a new truck, And then, of course, there's cost of permit, so there's more costs. And when you're heavy, you burn a bunch of fuel, right? So everything is like, if you remember, there was one video I did where I was crossing into Canada, like a funny little bridge, 50 meters long, 150 feet, and they wanted 500 US to cross because I had an oversized load, And quite often brokers don't know about this, they don't know that bridges, a lot of bridges between US and Canada, toll bridges. And if you have an oversized load, you need permission, you need to do a little application on the website. It's all extra time, extra effort. And a broker I know recently suggested, he says, start charging people when you have to load yourself, And I said, hey, that might be a good idea, but I'm not sure brokers will react, you know. But basically, he was saying that you have to, before you give them your quote, just ask them like, who's loading this excavator? And of course, the guy would go, "Oh, you." You know, and I could tell him, "Hey, of course, I can load anything pretty much, but I'm gonna charge you." You know, like if the shipper is loading, then it's free. But so yeah, it's not easy, right? They expect us to drive all types of equipment, just basically home training. You know, you have to learn from pictograms, from pictures from other guys. It's ridiculous. So, and but it's definitely much more complicated than regular trucking. Let's say when you hook up to a container chassis or a dry van trailer and you just open doors, close doors. That's why this has to pay more. And plus, of course, you need a special truck, expensive. You need a special trailer, expensive. Um, it's a lot of money. Question: what is the reason why Canadian and American authorities limit heavy loads to 12 p.m.? 12 p.m. 12 p.m. I'm not sure what you mean. Like, well, today I got lucky that normally you're supposed to shut down on the previous day before the statutory holiday, right? Because I was under 63,500 kgs gross, I was able even to drive today on January 1st until 12 noon, right? But why they do it? Because I guess they expect a lot of people on the road, and just matter of safety. Probably, you know, they suspect that a lot of people will be drunk, you know, or tipsy or buzzed, and so they probably think that, you know, if I'm driving there with this 12-foot wide excavator, the chance of that buzzed guy to hit me is higher. And so they just shut us down. They shut all oversized loads down. Hey, Captain, how much wood could a woodchuck chuck? What if a woodchuck could chuck wood? Crazy. I have no idea what that is. Yeah, there's some. We have some spam over here, so it's automatically held. Hi, Sergey. Got a bit of a odd question. How come drivers over in the US and Canada on 4-lane highways don't flash your headlights so other drivers that's overtaking you can go to the right lane? Well, they used to do it a long time ago, right? When you had like one truck per mile, but now you have 50 trucks, you know. Nobody does it anymore. Like once in a blue moon, like I see sometimes a guy passes me and he stays in the left lane and he puts on his blinker and I see he's looking in the mirror, you know. I can feel like the truck is like moving like this a little bit, so you see the guy is looking in the mirror, he's waiting for you. I just don't do anything. First of all, I think it's even illegal to flash your headlights, you know. But it's just, I think the main reason is because there's so many trucks right now. Like if you start doing this, you know, your left hand will fall off, you know. Okay, what is here? A little late, but I'm here. Says Max Racing Team 23. Oh wow, we have 448 people. What are you guys doing over here on January 1st? Are you supposed to sit behind the New Year's table or something? Like I'm here at the hotel, right? I have nothing better to do. Oh, and by the way, thanks again to all premium members. I know lots of regular guys were offended, but again, this has nothing to do with free programming. But we do have these premium members and premium membership where they get a bit, you know, more photos, you know, a little bit extra content. And I'm gonna do, oh, and they're gonna have chat. I still have to get to that. We'll do like a chat specifically for premium members. What do you do on long breaks? Do you ever get an apartment for short term? Well, actually, I'm a big fan of hotels. You know, when I was waiting for the Kenworth truck, right? I don't remember who I used. I think I used hotels.com or priceline.com, but I was looking for a hotel in my home area in Ontario. And as soon as I entered like a very long range of dates, like it was over a month or maybe even like 50 days or something, I forgot. But as soon as I did that, the website automatically says, oh, we're going to switch you to this little tab on this website where people can bid for your business. They say, and they ask me how much you want to spend. I told them, I came up with a pretty much the same as what an apartment would cost, for that kind of term. And then people started submitting quotes, like in this one hotel said, yeah, we'll take you. And it was pretty cool. So you can get all kinds of deals, especially in winter when things are a bit dead for these guys. This, like especially in winter, I love spending weekends in Niagara Falls, Canada, because they have like I don't know 1,001 hotel over there, and they have never enough people. And I go to Priceline and I can get some amazing deals, even on like a 4-star hotel, with a view of the falls. Of course, I got to drive there. It's like 60 miles from Cambridge, but I don't live anywhere, right? So everywhere is my home. Do you still have your? No, wait a second. Do you still have your drone? No, I tried to switch to a better one, but then I started introducing all these crazy laws. Now I don't even know like if it's legal in Canada. Why don't you bring your mother to Canada? Well, some people, my mother and my brother are among them. They cannot live outside of Russia. They wither, they get sick. But yeah, I talked to my brother many times. I said, why don't you come over here? I'll help you, because that's the easiest way, right? To bring your brother. Like, I'm a citizen of Canada. He's 9 years younger than me. He's single. I said, come over here, live here. I'll take care of all the paperwork. But he cannot do it. And actually, I wanted to. He never been here, right? I've been here since what, 97, and he never visited me because there's an issue with the visas for Russians. Like, he can probably get a visa to Canada, but what's the point of sitting in Canada if I'm always traveling between US and Canada? So I thought I would bring him over and show him, the States, like get him in my truck, as a passenger. But for that, he needs a US visa. And there was some kind of a confrontation, right, between US and Russia. And so they just shut down the embassy over there. And he says people were saying like there was like a sign on the door, like no visas for Russians to go to US, like even as a tourist. But my mom, yeah, she cannot live outside. She can probably come with a visit, but now she's over 80 years old, but she's amazing. My brother bought her these sticks for walking, right? And she walks every day 1 to 3 kilometers. So no, yeah, I don't have the drone. So do you plan on going home this year or next year's? Yeah, like I said, they want to see me because my mom is getting older, and so I just need to renew my Russian passport, and then I can go. Why do you not get more of the loads in or out of the port of Baltimore? Well, I go by what I see on the marketplace, which for me is a load board, right? And sometimes they have loads, sometimes they don't. A big ship comes in, they will have 200 loads, right? But a lot of them are for step decks and flatbeds. Not every load is good for my trailer. Oh, it's nearly 10 a.m. January 2nd here in Queensland, Australia. So that's the difference. So 6:57, so 3 minutes ago, the guy said it's almost 10 o'clock. So we have here 7. So 5 plus 10, 15 hours forward is in Australia. So that's why I thought it was middle of the night over there. Do you see yourself possibly bringing your photography blogs back? Well, sometimes I do videos about photography, but I get thumbs down all the time and nobody watches them. So now I'd rather include photography in the videos, right? And then I do post stuff on my Instagram and on my Sergey Drachev pixels.com, where you can buy them framed. Actually, some of them look pretty good. I when I upload a nice photo that I took, I go there. The first thing I do is on this pixels.com, I click framed, and they show you how my photo will look on a large size somewhere near a sofa on the wall in a frame. And especially like Chicago, I remember checking out, like when I was there last summer, some of the photos are actually pretty good, even if I say so myself. But that's what I like shooting landscapes, architecture, street photography. So I like that. And I have the camera, right? So here's my, I don't know if you can see this, right? Here's my little, that's what I have now. I sold all my expensive cameras. Now I just have this Rebel SL3, which is in Europe is called 250D. But this is, very small crop sensor camera, but takes great photos. But most importantly, it's best for video because it has amazing automatic autofocus, right? And I cannot afford to carry 2 cameras, so I use this one for everything. And the video I did today, where I was talking about this Cochrane, the second part, you probably could see that the quality was much better. So the first part was recorded with the LG G6, and the second part was recorded with this Canon SL3. Why don't you buy a small house? Oh, that's a good question. Something about Trudeau over here. All right, we got a winner here. Danny donated $20. Happy New Year, Sergey. It was fun taking you to Starbucks and to my mom's house for some pelmeni in Portland, Oregon back in 2013. Oh, wow. 2013. Yeah, I used to go that area, right? Quite a lot, I think, when I was with Landstar, because Landstar had, again, because I'm Canadian, right? And we cannot do loads inside US. So I had to do lots of deadheading and, but I like going there. And thanks, Danny. I like going there in the summer. In winter, I just really don't like those, mountain passes. Where's my app? Lose It. If somebody wants to lose weight, check this out. It's called Lose It. Sorry. It looks like this, right? The screen looks like this. Basically, it gives you create a goal, how much you want to, what's your weight now, how much you want to weigh, and it breaks it down. It tells you your calories. But now I switched to a better system, which I used to be on a long time ago, and it's called Protein Power. Lots of people are confused about this protein thing, but I know what I'm supposed to eat, and so that's my second New Year resolution: Protein Power during the week, and then on the weekend only, I will allow myself. And there's only 3 types of foods. And this guy says pelmeni. pelmeni, which is dumplings, like Russian dumplings. There's only 3 types of foods that I crave, and that's dumplings or pelmeni, Russian, and pancakes, but not this pancakes like you see in Canada and US. These are not pancakes, but what they call, those thin ones, crepes. So crepes and dumplings, and so that's for the weekend only. But during the week, it's only protein, veggies, high protein with vegetables, fruits, stuff like that. I really want to lose, this little tie over here I have. All right. Stephen Johnson at 701 says 12 p.m. in Scotland. All right. So basically, it's not that difficult for people to tune in. And we have 427 people. That's pretty cool. I think that's better than last time. JJ Bid 1 says, hello, Captain. Enjoy videos. Great job. Can you give us a brief history of why and how you came to North America? Well, there was a video about this. If you look at my YouTube channel, actually, it was a very long video I did looking back, like why I came. Just type, if you go to search function, just type why on my channel and you will see that video. But basically, I just didn't want to live in Russia. There was lots of, instability over there, like corrupt system. I wanted to live in the West, and so yeah, I'm pretty happy. I'm pretty happy here being in Canada, especially since we allowed this entry to US. It's like a kind of like what my brother was saying. Now they have this Schengen, what they call it, Schengenskaya visa, like Schengen visa, like they only need one visa to enter all these European countries, which is pretty cool. But so here we have the same kind of like super nice status, right, between Canadians and Americans. Americans don't need a visa to enter Canada. Canadians don't need a visa to enter US, as long as it don't work. Which reminds me, once I was a witness to, I was on the Canadian side in my car, and next to me was some kind of a van with a priest, Pope in Russian, right? And they were searching his car, and I heard them talking. How long have you been in the States? And the guy said, like 6 months, and they said, what were you doing over there for 6 months? Like, how did you basically survive? How much money did you bring in? And the guy says he was doing some voluntary work at his church, at the branch in the States. And of course, Canadians were saying, like, you probably were paid for this, right? And eventually they made him admit that, yeah, he was paid. So he was illegally working in US. Oh, boy. But if you don't work, if you're being honest, that's, you can go for a vacation. Like, I can just buy a ticket and fly to Florida, or drive my car to Florida. I can go to Los Angeles, California. No visas, no restrictions. It's nice. I like Canada. Like they say, the smart people, I'm not that smart, because otherwise I wouldn't be a trucker, right? But they say that smart people live in one country, work in another country, and they keep their money still in another country. That's like the smart way. How do you can minimize your taxes legally, and so that would be smart. So basically, I live in Canada, but I move freight between US and Canada, but I keep my money in Canada, so that's not very smart. So, but anyway, so I just read that somewhere. Hi from Nova Scotia, says Ian. Hello. How old are you, sir? I'm not sure. Hold on. Let me use a calculator here. I'm 57. what is this here? What? That's the end? Do you have a hydronic heater installed on your Kenworth? Hydronic. That's kind of like atomic. No, I don't have that one. I have a regular heater, like Webasto, or what's the other one called? S something, S-Par. And it's a little tiny engine motor, and it uses diesel fuel. But they also kill your battery. So if you have to sit somewhere for like 2-3 days, it's not going to work. You have to start the engine. And then as soon as you start the engine, that heater just switches off automatically. You know? Happy New Year from, okay, Halifax. How much additional capacity will the Jeep give you? Well, the Jeep is, you know, you can get like 46 as a tandem, right? So it's like a 46, like I said. With 10 axles, it's 20K per axle, let's say conservatively, right? So that's 200K gross. So like now, I did this 100,000 pounds, right? This excavator. So that was pretty much, that's it, you know, on 8 axles here in Northeast only, I was able to do it. But as soon as I go somewhere like Kansas, Oklahoma, you cannot do this on 8 axles. You know, I cannot move even 100,000 pound load because they don't give me 80,000 on the back. And so first of all, the Jeep and Stinger, they will allow me to move heavy freight more consistently, pretty much anywhere, and it shouldn't be a stretch to say that I will be able to do 110 and 115,000 for sure, 100 maybe 120. We'll see. It all depends on the jurisdictions. Like I know Western Canada, they give you what, like 65 for a Tridem, or you can get, if I do 2 plus 2 in the back, like with a Stinger, right, I can get 46 plus 46. So then it's even more than 200, you know. But the problem is that my truck, I don't think my truck with its small radiator is designed, I think, for, it's not designed for gross weights over 200K. All right. Will you do another Stepan's tips? Yeah, we might do that later. Yeah, I had a bunch of videos, right, where I was talking with a funny Russian accent. And but again, I'm looking at views, right? How many people actually watch that? And I enjoyed making these humorous Stepan vids, but they were not getting too many views. Andrew says, when UK leaves Europe, you will need passports and visas again. Probably for Russians, right? Happy New Year from Arizona. I went back and watched all your previous videos, over 1,300 at last count. Wow, thank you. But I think on my channel, I think I have more than that. Do they have income tax in Canada? Of course they do. But there's lots of deductions, you know, like you can deduct all my payments, like for the truck, for the trailer, because it's a capital lease. I just deduct the lease, and I can deduct even the interest. I can calculate, like I know what the truck cost brand new, right? And then I look at my payments, let's say times 60 months, and I see the difference, right? So then I can play with that number to come up with the interest per year, and I can deduct that as well. Kind of like what they allow you guys do in the States with mortgages, right? I may be mistaken, but you can deduct the interest. But here, you can do that if it's a business expense, which in my case it is. So that you can do lots of deductions, right? So okay, what else do we have here? Do you have in-room coffee? Show us how to use it. Well, I had this. I have a little thing in there. Hold on one second. You see, they give you this little contraption over here, and you open it like this, and then you put these in there. You put this in here, and then you pour water in here. But this is only one cup, right? So just for one guy, you know. These I already had one, so I might do this decaf because it's already getting late, and I want to sleep. Actually, it's pretty decent coffee. Lots of places here they have these, right? So everything is neat and clean. Then you just take it out of the machine, throw it in the garbage. You know, I like it. So yeah, I don't want to. I had tea, and then I'll do a decaf. All right, we have 1 hour 26 minutes live. We have 385 people, so that's not bad. Okay, what else do we have here? Do you know a ballpark yet for what you will be empty with all 10 axles? 72,000 pounds. Would you like a refrigerator in your truck? No, because I prefer to buy fresh food and I don't cook. Don't need the amount. Do you make a good dollar on YouTube? Half of the time, it goes up and down all the time, but half of the time it pays for my trailer. So half of the time, my trailer payment is covered. I'm serious, right? But like 5-10 years ago, I made a video about this, and people were laughing at me, saying that I'm lying. I said I did a video called "How to Make $300 a Month on YouTube" because I was so excited. It was the first time I ever got that much money, because before it was like $20, $50, and then I got 300. And I got so excited that I did a video about this, and I gave people tips, what you can do, what you can talk about, like what topic to choose for your channel. And I remember comments there, that cannot be, you're lying, like show us a statement of your account. But that was like years ago, because as you can see, I do a lot of videos, and you pretty much have to do videos all the time to keep up the interest, right? What is your favorite state to drive in? My favorite state to drive in. Well, probably somewhere in the West. Like in the summer. I'm not talking about winter, but somewhere where you have these open spaces where there's no traffic and you're just on the freeway with some nice mountains in the distance. Like I love Montana. But again, in the summer, Montana, I like, these northern states like Wisconsin over there. I mean, Wisconsin, Wyoming. But again, in the summer, Texas is cool, like somewhere again where it's lots of open space and you can just relax and enjoy the road, because when it's too much traffic, you don't have time to enjoy yourself, because you just have to look out for the for guys trying to cut you off. Okay, why do I have to create a channel to comment? Why do I have to create a channel to comment? I'm not sure about that. All right, what else do we have here? Don't need the, okay, Dodge Dodge Bob, not New York. Thumbs up, people. Okay, I'm from Kentucky. Says Mike. Tax and gas is high in Canada. Yeah, we have high taxes, and because healthcare is free, but lots of things are more expensive than in US. How long will you keep this with new ad equip now? So basically, how long will I guess I will be keeping this? But for me also, I remember talking to a guy at Hale Trailer. He gave me his business card. He was a heavy hauler from Michigan, and he was buying like a 10 axle setup, right? Because a lot of people buy everything together. When they buy this 60 or 70 ton trailers, they buy everything, so you can start doing this heavy stuff from day one. Unlike me, because I just got the 60 ton, I didn't have money to buy everything together. But most people buy everything together, like the trailer, the Jeep, the Stinger, the big neck flip box. And I remember this guy, he was saying it cost like 180 or 190 grand US, just the trailer with all the stuff, with the extra axles, with the Jeep, with the Stinger, So it's a lot of money. So I'm thinking, so for me, that's kind of like I'm gathering this little package, right? So first I got the trailer, then I got this flip box, 36-inch. Now I'm getting the Jeep, the Stinger, and 83-inch flip box. So it might be cool. It's kind of like an investment, because then again, most people, when they're buying a 60-ton trailer, they want to buy a whole package, So I can make some money when I'm selling it. So, but I'll be keeping it for as long as I can find work. At least maybe for my truck will be paid off in roughly 3 years. Trailer 4 years. So we'll see what happens after that. What's your favorite color? What's my favorite color? Not sure. Probably something bright. My dad when he bought his first car, a Moskvich in Russia, it was orange. Oh, and my Kaufman trailer was orange. I like orange. Any advice to a new YouTuber? Just stick to one topic. Find something you're very good at so that people will respect your opinion. And stick to one topic. And videos must be more or less regular. You cannot just do one video a month and then expect influx of subscribers. You have to do, at least a couple of videos every week. How's the KW holding up? Delivery on new Jeep Stinger. Yeah, Kenworth is touch wood, a pretty reliable truck, but now I've been having some issues again with the clutch. I don't know. I think something is going on with the clutch brake. It's getting very difficult to shift into a gear from dead stop, and I feel something there, like something like not crunching, but there's some kind of a additional thing, like something is giving way there. Like I was at a truck stop and I asked them to check, and they say no, there's nothing to adjust in there. It's a hydraulic clutch, everything is automatic. And I asked the guy to grease it. He did that, but still that thing did not go away. Like there's something, it's as if something is with the clutch brake in there. But I know it's not expensive, so when I have time, I'm gonna have a look at that. But other than that, like the engine, DEF, it's a good engine. Cummins I like it. It's a good engine, except it makes all kinds of noises. It's a very noisy engine. You don't hear that pure kind of like a power, purr of the engine like from Caterpillar. This one, puffs like an old guy climbing stairs, and then I thought I had a leak somewhere, and then everybody says that's Cummins. Cummins is noisy. Do you still think it's worth to become a freight broker? Well, it's a very stressful job, but if you think it can handle it, I think it can probably make money. But again, like the other guy was asking, it's very difficult to break in. It's very difficult to break in without any experience. Okay, hey Sergey, have you looked at the wheel arch that I used on European trucks? They come in these in 3 parts, so you can remove just the top section. It may help with clearance when sliding a fifth wheel. Well, no, I'm not too familiar with the European trucks, but on mine, the only problem is that is the fender on the pusher axle, right? Everything else is fine. So I might, maybe I can lower it. I don't know. There's still room in there, I think, between the fenders and the pusher axle. Maybe I'll just take it off altogether. Where is the Challenger? The Challenger is doing great. It's my favorite car out of all cars I had. 485 horsepower, 470 torque. It's the most powerful vehicle, passenger vehicle I ever had. V Gators, dear mein Freund. Oh, I understand that one. How is it going, my friend? Well, it goes good. Gates as gate, good. When you come to Louisiana, we'll treat you to some Cajun food. Okay, sounds like a plan, only with no bread, no rice, no potatoes. Meat and veggies only, or fish and veggies. Nothing breaded. I'm on a new diet. Unless it's the weekend, then we can do dumplings and pancakes. All right, what else is here? Hello from Dortmund. Dortmund? Yeah, that's Germany, right? A new Stinger, you can increase that you want to haul. You have a plan to step up on what you can haul, but how heavy? But anyway, so like I was saying, that with these 8 axles I have now, right? It's very limiting in terms of geography, even inside Canada, like west, east. And so that's why you need the Jeep and Stinger, so I can go into more territories, right? So I can increase my reach. And again, because I cannot do loads inside US, so we have very limited amount of loads. So having a Jeep and Stinger will allow me to go to places where before I couldn't go with a heavy load, like say even like 80,000 pounds, I cannot do from, let's say, Edmonton, Alberta. But with the Jeep and Stinger, I will be able to do it. So I think, yeah, you will see me much more often in Western Canada and also in Eastern Canada, because lots of these loads require additional axles. Finn says, hi, Sergey. Always wondered what it would take for you to become a U.S. citizen so that you could pick up and drop off loads inside the U.S. Seems like there would be a lot of load opportunities inside U.S. Yeah, of course, there's more opportunities inside U.S., but they don't necessarily pay better. Loads, across the border, they usually they pay a bit better because there's more work involved, and there's a bit less competition, because a lot of American drivers don't want to go into Canada. So yeah, we have less loads, but sometimes they pay better. So I think it's kind of like a balancing act, But becoming a citizen, first of all, you have to be a resident of US, and becoming a resident is pretty much impossible unless you are a doctor or a lawyer or a singer or actor, or you get married, How often do you adjust your clutch hauling heavy? Well, my clutch is self-adjusting, so there's nothing they can do. So will your car beat a 2014 Corvette in the quarter mile? I'm not sure. Corvette probably has more horsepower, right? But if you have some extra 10 grand lying around, just send them over and I'll install the supercharger, and then we'll try it in the spring. Will you retire to driving a muscle car as an escort vehicle, as an escort service? That's a cool question. Unfortunately, no. Actually, yeah, that's a pretty big car, right? So in some places there's a requirement. I was talking to these escort, drivers, and they were saying that in some places it's a requirement that the wheelbase cannot be less than certain, amount, because it's ridiculous. In some states they allow like even a small car, and the guy's just trying to scare people out of the way of a truck with his little, Honda, Toyota Prius. So it has to be a big vehicle, because you have to, even though the rules say you don't have the authority to manage traffic, but still escorts do that, right? If they have to push somebody out of the way, if, like, say, if a skinny bridge, narrow bridge is coming up, right? So they will try to push people away to make room for the truck. But technically they're not supposed to do that, but they all do it, kind of like influence traffic. And so for that, it's good to have a big car, or usually, like in Ontario, they all have pickup trucks. But they drive a lot of miles. So I don't know. I was thinking, when it's time to retire, I was thinking of just, for sure, YouTube. I will be doing YouTube, and maybe just going to all these truck shows, and maybe I was thinking starting some kind of a machinery trading business, because I see how people make money with this. You buy and sell, because that's what I carry, right? I carry all these used machines, and somebody buys and sells them. So I think it would be cool to get into that. Just buy some excavator for 20 grand, sell for 30. That would be cool. But of course, you have to know what you're doing. You have to know all this machinery, like engine hours, what's good, what's bad. I'm not that good yet at this. I'm not sure, like, what do you buy that it will resell, Okay, do you do your own maintenance and or light mechanical work? And no, I'm not that good mechanically. I just do some basic stuff, but I'm like a pilot, like I'm flying the plane, and I let mechanics take care of the problems. Kamin sounds like a sewing machine. They always have unlike cat. Yeah, and I agree. It's like lots of. For me, this is my first comments, and I was really kind of like a bit disappointed, in the sound. Caterpillar was the best, but as long as it pulls great, lots of power. 2,050 pounds of torque. I know in Australia, in Europe, you can get more, but here 2050 is pretty much the top what you can get on a Cummins or Detroit. One guy says, walked by your truck in North Bay yesterday. Impressive setup. Close up. Great videos. Thank you, Mr. D. Blackmore. You were not that guy that was walking around at 5 o'clock in the morning, were you? No, actually, wait. That was New Liskeard. Yeah, New Liskeard. Somebody woke me up. I was sleeping in the truck, and some guy at 5 o'clock in the morning walks around in a safety vest, and I think he was just cleaning the area for Walmart. Have you ever been to Alberta, Canada? Many times. And but then when I went to work for this premium outfit, they never sent me there. And now I rarely go, because I have 8 axles which are not recognized in Western Canada. So I go, as soon as I cross the line between Manitoba and Ontario, I lose 2 axles. I lose the pusher, it's not recognized, and I lose the 4th axle on the trailer, because you need to have so basically, as soon as I cross the Manitoba line, I become a 6 axle rig. And because, of course, I weigh 60,000 pounds, that does not leave me much for a payload. But now with the Jeep and Stinger, that would change. will change. Sergey, do you still exercise with the weights you bought? Well, I keep carrying what I got, that 60 pound kettlebell, and I got two 45-pound blini plates. And last time I exercised was probably 2 weeks ago, but now it's day one of the new me. So expect to see me exercising much more often. Like, the plan is to exercise when I'm not loading or unloading, because if I'm loading today or unloading, I work with chains, I move these huge outrigger boards. But if I'm just driving, then I'm gonna do it. I really love that kettlebell. It takes 10-15 minutes a day, makes me feel good. So yeah, I'll pick it up again. Can you cross the border into Mexico? Never been there, and I don't think I'm licensed for that. Like, my CAP card doesn't have any Mexican states, and I'm pretty sure my insurance does not cover me over there. So I guess no, I cannot go there. When I worked for Landstar, they were saying if you want, they can take your trailer to Mexico. Let's say if there's a load going to Mexico, Landstar would offer you, they would pay you, I forgot, like $500 a day for you to sit at the border, and then a Mexican truck will take your trailer across the border. See, even Landstar, didn't want the truck to go into Mexico, but they would give the trailer. And quite often there were some horror stories, when your trailer would come back, it would have some missing lights, or some mismatched tires, or something would be stolen. So it was not a good idea. When I had my trailer, I never agreed to this. I never allowed my trailer to go across the border into Mexico. Can you cross? Okay, for the guy looking to be a broker, should you check somebody's channel over here? All right, so a tip for somebody who wants to be a broker, they give him a link here. Okay. Are you going to sell neck extension? Well, yeah, I was trying to sell it because I was talking to this JC trailer, right? And we agreed that 83-inch, like mine is 36 right now, right? But it's vital. You cannot do heavy haul on a 60-ton trailer if you just have 101 inch. 136, or before I had 123 inch flip box. It really helps, to move the weight to the front. I love it. Otherwise, your front is underloaded, your drives are overloaded. But now I will have two of these, right? Like, I spent a bunch of money on this 36-inch, which was custom made by Fontaine. Well, not custom, but they don't actually advertise it that you can get this 36-inch on their website. They only show 83, which is 11,000 US. So this one, I think, was like 7,000 was the book price. I got a good, I got some discount on that one, but it was still expensive. But now I will have this 83-inch, which is only 50 inches longer, right? What is it, like 3 feet, 4 feet? And so I was talking to JC Trail. I said, do you think it'll work if I just, let's say when I don't need the Jeep, can I use this new longer one instead of a 36 just to push the weight to the front? And they said it should work. So I don't know. I've been trying to sell it to help me pay for the Jeep, but I don't see any interest, I was trying to get like 5,000 Canadian, 3,500 US. So trying to sell it, but don't see any interest from, because it only will fit a 60-ton Fontaine trailer. Does your truck have an engine block heater for the winter? Actually, it does, but I never used it. I remember I spec'd it. It's in the specs, and there's a little timer in there. It's on the dash, but in 2 years, I never used it because I use a very good oil. I in winter I always switch to this fully synthetic Shell Rotella T6 5W40, and the truck just starts, like a brand new truck. All right, John Jones knows the secret. To become a U.S. citizen is easy. All you need is a piece of mail with an address on it. Change your driver's license. Yeah, you wish. You wish it would be that simple. What motivates you to do heavy haul as opposed to flat step deck? Well, basically, yeah, that's another thing about, how do you choose what you do in trucking is basically what you like, right? What you enjoy. But I think for me, mostly it was the revelation was when I was again with Landstar, and we had access to the internal load board, right? And let's say even if you have like drive-in or step deck, they show you the entire uh, palette of loads, and most of them would have prices, right? Like rates. And that was the first thing that piqued my curiosity. How can I make that kind of money? Because I saw like nice rates. Well, this was like 2010, 2011. The rates were pretty good, and I always try to go to the top in my particular field. And to me, that was kind of like what gave me showed me the direction where I want to go. And plus, the second thing is, so of course, it was money that I saw that people were willing to pay, good chunks of dough. But the second thing is that I really enjoy working with this machinery. I enjoy, driving all these excavators, dozers, wheel loaders, stuff like that. I just enjoy this heavy equipment. And I think it's important not to do it just for the money, but to do what you enjoy doing. Otherwise, life is too short, right? You want to have fun. And so on the one hand, I have fun because for me the heavier the better. I like big heavy loads. And on the other hand, of course, there's a reward. But recently this reward part was hard to deal with, because you always have to fight with brokers because everything was getting cheaper and cheaper. So pretty much people are paying the same as a step deck rate, and then they're surprised that when you tell them what you want, like, no, that's too much. As a heavy hauler, is it easy to get your own authority? Well, especially if you're just in the States, it's not that hard. So you can do it yourself in steps, like I did, like step 1, step 2, just look at what you have to do next, and take your time. You don't have to do it in 1 week. Or you can always hire a consulting company. There's a bunch of them on the internet, on load boards. They advertise there. They can register a company for you, but they will charge you like, $200, $300, $400 on top of the government fee. Have you ever driven the Autobahn in Germany? No. I've been in Germany once, very briefly, I think. No, wait a second. I don't think I even. Yeah, I was in Switzerland. I spent a week in Switzerland, but Germany, I was only at the airport. When changing planes. Do you ever use the gym in the hotel for cardio? Well, I used a gym when I was in New York City. A few months ago? I went to do photography. Oh, I went to this photography conference. I go sometimes there in the summer. And they had a gym. And it was right on my floor, pretty much next to my room. So why not? It's all included. So I went there, did some weightlifting exercises, Captain, there is an insect on the wall behind you. Insect on the wall. First of all, the wall is like 3 meters, 10 feet away. I don't see anything. You guys are paying attention to wrong things, you know. Do you like doing the power only loads, or do you prefer to just use your own trailer? Well, actually, power only can be cool, you know. Because I have the pusher axle, that gives me a kind of like lets me stand out from the competition, because not many people have a pusher axle truck with 4 axles, right? And so sometimes I can make very good money pulling some heavy machinery that does require a 4 axle, you know, truck. But then, of course, you know, on the way back you drive empty most of the time, because it's hard to find a power only from that particular place, you know, or it's something very cheap. But it does come in handy, you know. That's what I do sometimes in winter, right? If there's no loads for the trailer, I'll do a power only. But I'm not interested in doing just drive end stuff, because first of all, my fifth wheel is very high because of the big tires and the big frame. Like if I hook up to a drive end trailer, I'm 1310 at the top. So that's not good. Like what I'm supposed to do a permit for being too high. So, but something specialized, I like that, you know, like that big processing plant I did from Oklahoma City, from Terex. You know, they paid pretty good, and it was interesting. You know, I went all the way down there empty because they paid me a lot of money to bring it back to Canada. When in the States do you have to go by your hours of service? Yeah, of course. I got an e-log, like I'm using a program on my tablet, and you have to abide by that or you'll get a ticket. You're still driving the Dodge, you plan on keeping the car, or you're looking for something else? No, I have to keep that one because I was upside down on my Mustang. You guys bugged me very much for driving a V6 car. So now everybody is quiet. Or you should have bought a GT, right? So now I got this one, 392 cubic inches. Everybody's quiet, so I'm keeping this car. Have a Fontaine dealer sell your flip box for you. Well, it's basically the guy says, have a Fontaine dealer sell your flip box. Yeah, I tried this. I emailed the guy who sold me the trailer, and I said, do you know anybody, you know, do you have any do you think there'll be any interest? And he said, no, but I'll keep it in mind, he said. But I don't know, I don't think it's easy, because, you know, most people, it's for a 60-ton trailer, right? Most people buy these trailers with a Jeep and Stinger. And plus, they don't even advertise that flip box, you know, on their website. They only show 83 inches. So it's kind of like a tough sale, you know, tough to get rid of it. So if I cannot sell it, I'll just keep it, you know. And like one guy said, it's just a tool in the box. So this 36 inch is great for regular 8-axle loads. Happy New Year from Alberta, says Mr. Robert. Hey, Rob, how are you? What are the top productivity apps required to run your trucking business? Number one, OpenOffice. OpenOffice, the free software where I manually make my bills of lading and invoices. You don't need any automated software. But then, of course, what do you do? Google Maps, number one. I always use Google Maps for navigation, and I use, you know, terrain when I look on a computer, trying to find the proper route. I look at terrain, you know, traffic, weather. I often track weather, but again, I just use Google on my phone to do, you know, search for weather. But probably the most, email and calculator. Email, calculator, Google Maps, and then I just use Facebook as my kind of like I registered the Sergey Drachev Heavy Haul, and it's linked to my Facebook page, right? So I just use that as my business page. So I often do posts of current loads on Facebook just for marketing and promotion, right? So Facebook, Instagram, just for business related, postings. All right, some guy here says, Corey, wait a second. How many more years do you think you will drive truck? How many more years do you think you will drive truck? Well, first of all, I don't just drive a truck. I operate a business where I do everything. Book loads, negotiate rates, take care of maintenance, through shops. So it's much more than just drive a truck. I'm not a company driver. So like I said before, we'll see what happens once my truck is paid off and my trailer is paid off. And I do want to get something in US, some kind of a property. 406 people. Wow. And we've been on the air for 2 hours. Time now is 7:51. Yeah, probably let's finish probably around 8. But yeah, now I think we have good questions, What's your plan for 2020? Well, that's easy. Do my resolutions, like these 2 major resolutions. One of them is about the diet, and the other one is about the dry camp. And then the Jeep and Stinger. So basically, when I increase my revenue, increase the geography of my trips, which should make videos better because there'll be bigger, better loads. Okay, somebody's saying hi from Greensboro, North Carolina. Greensboro, North Carolina. Yeah, that's a good area. That's one of the areas I was considering settling down in, when I have some extra money. Some guy says, I was a good-looking ex-London Life agent. Now I am like him, old chap without hope to dating with blondies. Well, I think blondies are overrated. And plus, it's all artificial hair anyway. Artificial color. With the Jeep and Stinger attached to the truck, would you need spotters with you all the time? Spotters, you probably mean escort guys. No, the thing is, my trailer is only a tandem, right? The beauty of my 60-ton and why actually it's more expensive than a regular Tridem is because it's short. It's only tandem in the back and then 2 flip axles, right? So I can load, the Jeep will be on the deck, and then the Stinger will load somewhere in the back in there. And so I'll be short, I don't, going empty, I don't need any escorts. All right. With the Jeep and the Stinger, all right. Have you considered an awesome 4x4 truck for them snowy winters? They have some incredible power. And some get great mileage. Well, I always try to get something new. I already had pickup trucks before. I had a Ford and Dodge, right? But now I'm really happy with this Challenger because it's so much power and it's pretty fun on the snow if you know what you're doing, But of course, it's a rear-wheel drive car, so it's not. You got to be careful, but it's just the power is amazing, especially with a 6-speed Tremac, All right, have you considered? Okay, I almost joined the trucking business, but not much motivated with money issues. Maybe not much information for budgeting. Well, trucking is not easy. Trucking takes a long time to get established, and break into, find a niche that you like, you enjoy, and where you can make money. But when you're just getting started, like especially as company driver, they will just run you, like a horse, because usually they don't pay new people much, during the first couple of months, and so they just run you as long as the E-log allows that. Do you love your Kenworth? Well, I think it's probably the better truck out of all the trucks I had, but I don't agree that it's like they say, the world's best. I was always apprehensive of that kind of like self proclamation. Like now you see, like the truck is less than 2 years old. I already have issues with the clutch, and it's Eaton, right? So it's supposed to be like, it's not even a Kenworth thing, but the way they put them together, like I think that's what the most important about all these different brands is how they put the things together, because they all use, let's say, Cummins engine, they use this Hendrickson axles, right? So, but what do they make? They make the frame, and then they put things together, right? And how it's assembled, that's what I think is the difference between different brands. So some people say Peterbilt is the best. So I don't know. I was pretty happy with this Kenworth, but I don't see the world's best, because there's quite a few spots where quite a few things that they can improve. Maybe things would have been better if I stick to this old T800, which they still make. But I really like the cab. I like the cab on this one. The cab, the sleeper on this Kenworth is phenomenal. Mac will be the next truck. No, I had Mac once. That's it. What's your next truck if you decide to buy? Well, I'm pretty happy with this one. It's not perfect, but if I get a Jeep, like the short wheelbase is not going to be an issue. The only thing that I would love to have is automatic transmission, believe it or not, like 18-speed Eaton. But again, that's expensive. It's expensive to fix if it breaks down. So for now, I have no plans of. I thought of changing the truck, and after 3 years, but they're so expensive nowadays, right? Like my payments are through the roof. So, привіт з України, says Anatoly Kondratюk. Як се маєш? Okay, what else do we have here? Thanks for your videos. I love to. Some guy likes these lizards. I don't think that's healthy. What's your thoughts on Mack trucks? Like I said, I had them before. It's, if you want to go with the Mack, go with the Volvo, because that's what Volvo puts. The Volvo owns Mack. They put all the best parts in Volvo side of things. Mack is just like a budget truck, because they killed it. All right. Why not look into one of those Mack Titans? They don't make them anymore. I look into them, and they were more expensive than my Mack, and you could not buy them with a sleeper, so you had to buy a third-party sleeper, and that was, of course, extra money. But also, Volvo just killed it. What, 2 years ago or something? No, even earlier than that. Volvo killed the Titan. You cannot buy it anymore. So anyway, so 7:59. So we've been on the air for 2 hours, 8 minutes, and 34 seconds. We still have 398 people watching. So this is pretty good. So thank you very much. I see lots of comments. So I guess we're gonna say goodbye here at this juncture. So stay tuned for more videos. I will definitely do extensive, detailed video about the Jeep and Stinger. We'll show you guys how it's all connected. I myself am very impatient to look to hook up to all this stuff and run on 10 axles, and see what kind of money I can make. For me, this is the new year, so I got new resolutions, new plans. So hope to become healthier, thinner, richer in this year, and I'm inviting you guys to participate in my life, in my trucking life, through my videos. So thanks for watching. Happy New Year, everybody. Good luck, good health to you, and thanks for taking part in this Q&A. We'll do it again. Ciao.